Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Customer Service. I work at a gas station in Oregon, where half the pumps are self-serve and the other half are mini-service. In the mini-service area, we pump gas for customers, but we are not required to do anything extra, like washing windshields. That said, we often do it anyway, to be polite. There's one particular customer though, a woman who comes in almost daily, buys a small amount of gas, $5 or $10, and always asks us to wash her windshield. She never tips, and she always seems to ask with this smug attitude, almost like it's a way of exerting control. One time, she even asked me to wash her windshield while it was raining. I did it because I take pride in providing good customer service. But afterward, I started thinking about how she treats us. She's not friendly or polite. Instead, she's demanding and condescending. Fast forward to today. She comes in, as usual, hands me $9 for gas, and asked me to wash her windshield with that same smug look. I told her I'd do it, but by the time I returned, the pumps were packed, and we had a line of cars. I apologized and said I couldn't wash her windshield because it was just too busy. She didn't take it well. She got snippy and demanded I stop the pump to give her the change. Since she paid in cash, that meant I needed to go inside to get it for her. When I went in, I told my coworker I needed change for pump number 2 and asked him to include 50 loose pennies in the mix. He gave me a puzzled look, so I explained who the customer was, and he happily obliged. At our station, we have to wait in line with other customers inside the attached convenience store to get change. While I was waiting, she came inside, glaring at everyone in line. She must have spotted me though, because she quickly went back out to her car. When I returned to her car, she was already annoyed. I handed her $3 bills, followed by a cascade of pennies and a few nickels. I said, "Sorry, we are short on silver." Her expression was priceless. She looked completely thrown off, stammering as I walked away. It was the most satisfying use of pennies I've ever experienced. The next story is called Speed It Up. I work at a big retail chain, where the stockroom is pure chaos. Recently, we got a new supervisor, Sarah, who seems to think she's running some elite task force. She's obsessed with speed, constantly on us to get things done faster, even if it means cutting corners. One day, during our busiest restock time, Sarah marches in with her clipboard and her in-charge attitude. She corners me while I'm in the middle of a huge inventory check and says, "You are taking way too long. Just get through it quickly. We don't have time to check every single item." I tried explaining that washing inventory checks is a bad idea, but she cut me off with a condescending smile and said, "If you can speed this up, maybe this job isn't the right fit for you." Alright, Sarah. Let's see how fast things unravel. The next day, I'm assigned another inventory check. Instead of my usual thorough process, I decide to follow her instructions to the letter. I glance at shelves, jot down some rough numbers, and skip opening boxes. What normally takes 2 hours, I finish in just 20 minutes. Sarah notices and is thrilled. "See, that wasn't so hard. Keep this up and you might even earn a bonus," she says, clearly proud of herself. Fast forward a week, and we have an emergency meeting with the store manager, Mike. Turns out the inventory reports are a disaster. Thousands of dollars in products seem to have vanished, and it looks like we either lost half the stock or there's some underground black market going on. Mike, visibly frustrated, asks Sarah what's going on. She immediately blames the team, claiming we weren't thorough enough. This is where I step in. I raise my hand and say, "Actually, I followed Sarah's instructions. She told us to skip detailed checks and just focus on speed."
The room goes silent. Mike turns to Sarah, his expression going from confused to furious. Is this true? Sarah tries to backpedal, stammering something about not meaning to skip the checks entirely, but it's too late. The damage is done. Mike orders a complete recount, and Sarah, along with a few unlucky team members, has to spend the next 12 hours redoing the inventory from scratch. Meanwhile, the rest of us carry on with our normal duties, enjoying the show. As Sarah and her team work, I make sure to walk by occasionally and ask, "Need help speeding things up? I could skip a few checks for you." The look on her face every time is a mix of embarrassment and frustration. By the end of the recount, we find thousands of dollars in discrepancies. It's clear that rushing inventory checks doesn't work. Sarah ends up getting a formal warning, and after that she stops pushing us to rush. In fact, she starts being extra polite whenever I'm around. A couple of weeks later, I get a small bonus for outstanding attention to detail and helping fix the inventory mess. Sarah couldn't even look me in the eye when I got the bonus slip. Now, whenever she walks by, I give her a friendly smile and say, "Don't worry, boss. I'm working as fast as you want." The last story is called No Input. A few months ago, a new investor at work joined us as a manager, and he has been very strict. He's focused on eliminating what he considers time wasting, and has been extremely unforgiving about it. After a week of observing us, he and the other managers held a company-wide meeting to iron out some wrinkles in how things were running. But this wasn't an open dialogue. It was a 20-minute speech about how it's their way or the highway. One line really stuck with me. "If we want your input, we'll ask for it. Period." It was abundantly clear afterward that this was directed at me. The company has been struggling with employee turnover lately, and I was in a unique position to understand why. Since my role involves interacting with everyone, the main reason people were leaving was that they felt misled about the job. Many employees believed they were signing up for customer service tasks, like answering emails and calls. Instead, they ended up spending 90% of their time in a hot warehouse, packing online orders. The common sentiment was, if I'd known this is what I'd be doing, I wouldn't have taken the job. I shared this feedback with management, thinking it might help them address the issue. They thanked me but didn't seem too interested. However, the new manager really didn't like that I had spoken up, and decided to hold that meeting to address what he called unsolicited advice. Later, they spoke to me privately and said they interpreted my feedback as accusing them of being deceitful in hiring. I clarified that I was just relaying what employees were saying. They didn't care. The new manager doubled down. "If we want your input, we'll ask for it. Period." I asked for clarification. What exactly counts as advice or input? The answer was clear. Unless it's a question about your assigned work, we don't want to hear it. We don't want your opinions on how the business should run. And we don't want gossip about what others are saying. Just focus on your job. Message received. I'd worked there for years, and management had always valued my input until now. But if they didn't want it anymore, I'd respect that. It was obvious this new attitude came from the new manager, but the others either agreed or didn't challenge him. Fine by me. I'd comply. Since then, the problem hasn't improved. 2 more people came and went, both saying the same thing. This isn't what I signed up for. Then we had a new hire about 5 weeks ago. Unlike the others, instead of quitting, he just got angrier and angrier. He'd often complain to others about working in the hot warehouse, but his frustration kept building. One day, he snapped. I was upstairs at my desk when I heard loud crashing noises. I went down to the warehouse and found him smashing customer packages out of sheer frustration. A few co-workers stood around watching, almost entertained by the chaos. It felt like something out of a cartoon. The new boss heard the commotion and came down. Long story short, the employee was fired. Later, management asked me if I knew why he flipped out. I replied, I don't know the exact reason, but for weeks he'd been saying he didn't sign up to work in a hot warehouse. Maybe he just reached his breaking point. The new boss looked frustrated and asked, why didn't you tell us? So I reminded him, last time I told you employees were unhappy about this. You accused me of implying you were deceitful during hiring. Then you told me to stop gossiping. He was visibly uncomfortable and had to backtrack, but then accused me of being too literal with their earlier request and called me petty. Honestly, I don't care. The incident resulted in about $10,000 worth of damages, with some individual items costing $2,000 each. Updating the stock levels and seeing the impact made the whole situation feel oddly satisfying.
Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.